Hi, my name is Ben. I work for the Game House, and today we're going to be looking at the best spots for Lamar Jackson now that we know he's not going to be a Baltimore Raven anymore. We know Lamar Jackson has now requested a trade. He did so back on March 2nd. That sort of leads to the belief that he will not be back even if the Baltimore Ravens try and match a contract given to them by another team. He is on that non-exclusive franchise tag. If you're still unfamiliar with it, another team has a chance to sign Lamar Jackson, and the Baltimore Ravens can match that, bringing him back to the team. But if they do that, now that Jackson has made it clear that he doesn't want to return to the Ravens, he may sit out. It may not be worth it for them to do that. So let's just take a look at a couple of the teams that could pull it off. First team is the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Miami Dolphins would have to wait until after this draft because you need 2 first-round draft picks in a row to sign a player off of a non-exclusive franchise tag. So if the Dolphins wait, they will have 2 first-round picks in a row, and there's nothing telling either side or the player that they can't wait until after the draft. Now, Lamar Jackson is from South Florida, and that's a very talented team. There's a lot of money being paid on offense, and Mike McDaniel does like Tua Tagovailoa a lot. But bringing in Lamar Jackson, if he could give the Dolphins some sort of hometown discount, maybe a fully guaranteed contract over 2 years for less money to sort of prove that he can play back home, maybe win a Super Bowl, and then take care of him long term and work out a lot of the money elsewhere after you had a chance to replenish veteran players worth a lot of money with some draft picks. I'm sure Lamar Jackson would appreciate playing near his hometown, and the Dolphins would absolutely be the fastest offense in the league if they weren't already with a player like Jackson. So look for this to maybe stretch out until after the draft, and if that happens, then the Dolphins could go ahead and grab him. The next is the Indianapolis Colts, who have a new coach, Shane Steichen. He was the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, who had a running quarterback in Jalen Hurts, and that worked out pretty well for them last year as they made a Super Bowl. As they're looking for a new offensive identity, why not pair Steichen with another running quarterback, a faster running quarterback, a better running quarterback, in Lamar Jackson? Now, I know the Colts have been on sort of a roulette wheel of veteran quarterbacks for the last few seasons, but Lamar Jackson is not Carson Wentz, and he's not Matt Ryan, and he's not Phillip Rivers. He's in his prime, he's still good, and he can change your offensive identity in a heartbeat. Pairing him with someone new and really changing the whole identity of the franchise right away could be huge for that team if they can afford him, if they can make it happen. Plus, they're sitting at number 4 in the NFL draft right now. The top 2 teams, the Panthers and the Texans, are both absolutely taking quarterbacks, so that means you need to settle for either Anthony Richardson, who's very raw but has a high ceiling, or Will Levis, who does not take care of the ball very well. If the Colts really don't want to start from absolute scratch, maybe they could sign Lamar. And then finally, we have the Washington Commanders. Now, Dan Snyder, the owner of the Commanders, has a bid for the team up to $6 billion, as was last reported. If Dan Snyder does sell the team, we could look at this both ways. Dan Snyder could give Lamar Jackson that fully guaranteed contract as sort of a middle finger to the rest of the owners that don't love him on his way out, or the new ownership group could try and ingratiate themselves with the fan base in the city and sign Lamar Jackson to that big deal and change everything right away. And he'll have players like Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson. They would have to hit on some draft picks because it's not a super talent-rich roster, but they could absolutely vie for the NFC East right away. And once you win the NFC East, you're in the playoffs, you have a home game. Anything could happen, especially with a player like Lamar. So let me know what you think down below. Where would you like Lamar to sign? And thanks for watching. I appreciate it.